Alright, checking the refrigerant pressure. This right here is a set of service gauges. I've had several sets over the years. I think I bought my first set when I was 18. But as I was saying, I'm going to try to get in pretty close. This left side right here, I've got this connected to the suction line, which is going to be called the low side of the refrigeration system, or air conditioning, whatever you, however you want to refer to it as. But this one right here, on the outside, these black numbers, that's going to represent pressure, PSI. And there's several scales on the inside. They're different colors, and there's one that's green right there. Well, that is that's what the refrigerant temperature is going to be inside the evaporator while it's running. So in other words, if I've got, let's say I got a 60-pound suction pressure, well, all I have to do is come over, and it's going to be 34-degree evaporator. And when you blow air across that evaporator, obviously, because air is not one of the best conductors of heat, you're not going to get 34-degree air coming out. Typically it's going to be 10 to 15 degrees higher. So you know, in reality, you're going to be getting about 50-degree air coming out. Okay, right here. So that's 34-degree coil at 60 psi, and the corresponding temperature that you're going to see coming out of the vent is going to be about 50 degrees. Now, where this pressure right here is at, of course, it dictates what temperature the coil is, or of the evaporator. And it's going to change as the ambient temperature outside fluctuates. We'll go over this one. This is discharge pressure, and what this is you know, discharge pressure is always going to be higher, and you know, in a typical situation, when you got probably 85 degrees outside, your suction pressure is going to be running somewhere between 60 and 65 psi, and your head pressure, it's going to be between 200 and 225 typically. That's pretty good. And as the temperature outside goes up, you can expect this to rise, because your compressor is going to have to work harder. And the same thing, if your condenser coil right there is stopped up with dirt and dust and grass clippings and stuff like that, well, it's going to make this pressure right here go higher than it should have to. And at the same time, it's going to bring this one up with it, which is going to it's going to change the temperature of your evaporator. You're not going to get the same cooling effect that you would if the coil was cleaned. So that's why it's important to you know, keep your condenser coil clean. Now the same thing, your evaporator coil on the inside, you know, typically it's going to be inside the house, maybe in a closet or something like that. Sometimes they call them a coil. If it's got some blockage, it's going to throw your pressures off as well. And you know, if it's pretty much blocked all the way, what it's going to do is this one right here is going to go in a vacuum, or it's going to try to. It'll actually go lower, and it's going to freeze your evaporator up. And this discharge pressure right here, it's going to go up at the same time. So you know, these hook in this low side right here is going to hook in to your biggest line. Your biggest line is always suction on any unit, okay? It hooks in right here. This is a port for you to hook your gauges to. This one right here, this small line is going to be a high pressure liquid line, and I've got my discharge, I got my high side gauge connected here. And you got to be real careful when you disconnect this, because there's going to be liquid there, and you could get frostbite. Alright, that's going to be long enough for that one.